We shall be describing three-phase induction motor, that is first unit of the syllabus. For any of the electric motor, electric power is input to three-phase induction motor and mechanical power is output of the motor. Three-phase supply, that is input to motor, should be known before we understand how it contributes in the functioning of motor. Depending upon type of connection to stator side, supply may be 3 wires or 4 wires supply. For small motors, motor starts using DOL or direct online starter. But for big motors, star delta starting is used to limit starting current. Three-phase supply is characterized by three phasors that are 120 degrees or 2 pi by 3 radians away from each other. These three phasors along with its graph is shown on voltage versus time plane. Motor broadly consists of stator and rotor, with stator carrying three-phase distributed balanced armature winding. Consider the armature windings in the diagram that explains how windings are placed in armature slots and connected together to form three-phase windings. When such a winding receives supply from three phases, it draws a current from supply and lags behind the voltage by some angle depending upon phase inductance. These three currents are also away from each other by 120 degrees or 2 pi by 3 radians. It is important to understand difference in time for three phases of current and corresponding three phases of magnetic flux. Magnetic flux is away from each other in time as well as in space. Flux and currents are in phase on phasor diagram. If we add all phases corresponding to R, Y and B phases, then resultant flux has a constant flux, but its location on armature surface changes with time. This constant flux moving along one pole pair of windings in 20 milliseconds for 50 cycles per second supply. When induction motor has more than one pole pair, same phenomena occurs for each pole pair simultaneously. This is described as magnetic flux rotates in air gap between stator and rotor at synchronous speed. We can find out the synchronous speed from the formula where ns is the synchronous speed and p is number of pole pairs. The effect of this rotating flux is to induce the EMF in the conducting bars in rotor cage. We can see rotor bars in yellow color and conducting ring that short circuits these bars at two ends in red color. These bars and rings, mostly of copper, creates a cage-like structure, so induction motor is known as squirrel cage induction motor. EMF induced in single bar acts on its own resistance and also on parallel combination of rest of bars in a cage. The same thing applies for all bars of the cage. The cage not only has a resistance but also has an inductive reactance. Instead of going in details of rotor circuit, we shall consider that rotor has impedance with inductive nature, so current due to this induced EMF will lag behind the EMF by some angle. In this way, we have a situation where current carrying conductors find themselves in the magnetic field, so force or consequently torque shall be exerted by each rotor bar. Since rotor is free to move inside the rotor, this torque will make rotor to rotate inside the stator. The direction of rotation of this movement is in the same direction as direction of rotation of magnetic field due to stator currents. When rotor is not rotating, speed of magnetic field due to stator currents is synchronous speed. But when rotor starts rotating, relative speed with respect to rotor bars is less than synchronous speed. So RMS value of induced EMF drops and frequency of rotor EMFs and currents also drops. If we assume rotor catches synchronous speed, then rotor bars will experience zero rate of change of flux. So induced EMF, no current and zero torque. This situation is never achieved by rotor and rotor speed is always less than synchronous speed. Under no load conditions, rotor speed is very close to synchronous speed to cope up with small no load losses. Theory of induction motor is explained in terms of slip. Slip is the per unit value of rotor that slips back behind synchronous speed based on synchronous speed. Accordingly, formula of slip S is equal to ns minus n upon ns. So value of slip S is always less than 1 and close to 0. Full load slip is generally between 0.05 to 0.08. Sometimes slip is expressed in percentage, so 0.05 is 5% slip. Now let us consider the windings shown on the slide. These windings are known as distributed windings. These windings are shown separately for each phase R, Y and for B phase. On the next diagram, these windings are shown in the combined form. Depending upon number of pole pairs, this pattern of winding is repeated for subsequent pole pairs in an identical form. We will only note that these windings are different from concentrated windings and it expresses in the form of winding factor Kw, that is less than 1. The EMF equation shown on slide for induction motor has an additional factor Kw in comparison with EMF equation for transformer. The slide that you see now shall be used to explain constructional details of three-phase induction motor. Broadly speaking, motor has a frame, stator stampings, stator windings, shaft, rotor stampings, cage, bearings, fan, end covers, and terminal box. These parts are important except small parts like bolts and screws. Let us understand the role of these parts one by one. The main frame is a mechanical support structure against internal and external mechanical forces and also to protective cover from atmosphere. The next part is the stator stampings, which is in the form of laminations coated from its both sides using insulating material. The stator stampings also have a role as a magnetic circuit for magnetic field produced by both stator and rotor windings. The next part is the stator windings. These are placed in stator slots to carry electric current and produce magnetic field. The similar role is for rotor windings. Next part is shaft. Shaft is a supporting component and carries all other components mounted on it. Mainly shaft carries rotor stampings in the form of stack that receives rotor windings. Shaft is supported by end covers and bearings to keep it in an aligned position. End covers have a role of protecting motor from atmosphere and also support shaft of the motor. Bearings are important mechanical component that minimizes mechanical losses due to friction. Three-phase induction motor is broadly classified as a cage or slip ring. For moment we shall consider cage, which have role of inducing EMF, passing current and exerting torque. Since cage resistance is constant, it is not controllable. Lastly, terminal box is a place where all leads of the stator windings are taken away through studs or bushings for connecting to external supply. Fan mounted on a shaft pushes air from one end cover to other end cover for cooling the portions of rotor and stator. Holes are provided for this force air to pass through motor for cooling the motor body. Lastly, installation holes and corresponding studs are important to provide firm foundation for motor so that load is smoothly driven without vibration by motor. Now let us consider that rotor has windings instead of cage. For producing rotor windings, we have considered its resistance and reactance because these values control the characteristics of motor. One more constructional feature for wound rotor is it is of the same form similar to stator windings. Stator windings leads are connected to external supply through terminal box, but for rotor windings the leads are connected through slip rings. If shaft has 4 slip rings, then windings are star connected. Otherwise, if shaft carries 3 slip rings, then windings are delta connected. These slip rings are used to insert external resistance to change the characteristics curve of induction motor.